Welcome back, Airbnb family. So a subscriber asked a question on our comments section on a video earlier this week, and they wanted to know about starting their first Airbnb. Where should they do it? Specifically, she asked me, should I do it nearby where I live? Now, there is a long, semi-complex answer to this, so let me break it down. First, what I did is I set it up in my same building. So I lived in one building and added 2 more properties in the same one, but this isn't necessarily duplicatable or practical depending on where you live, right? So my first building is actually behind me, back there somewhere. So what I did is I set it up at a place called Sky House. Now, the location was perfect, it was profitable, and it worked. But this is not always the case for you, because you might live in a regular home. You may not live in an apartment complex. You may live in a suburb of a city instead of in the city, things like that. So the one most important thing when you set up an Airbnb property is that you're going to be profitable. You need to choose a property where you know you can get travelers at the price you need. So one quick pricing strategy that I use is I look by hotels that are near where I'm going to set up my Airbnb. I look for 4-star plus hotels like Hiltons and Hyatts, and I take their nightly rate, I divide that by 5, and that is my nightly rental budget, all right? So $150 a night at a hotel means you have a $30 per night rental budget. Simple, right? Hotels are proof that people travel there, right? Just like CVS. CVS will pop up across the street from a Walgreens. You know what that does? That saves CVS marketing research, right? They don't actually have to spend the money on it because they know that Walgreens already did the vetting for the neighborhood. So they know that Walgreens thinks it's going to be profitable to set up, so they can save themselves that money and just pop up in competition with Walgreens. Walgreens hates that, I'm sure, but it saves CVS a bunch of money. So that is how you can do the same, is by taking hotels and just writing on their research to find out where you should be a host. Now, let's say this is a block or 5 away from where you live. That's spectacular, because then you get to do all the cleanings, check-in and check-outs for the guests. You can field problems. The guest gets locked out, things like that. So let's talk about the implications of not being nearby your property. The further away you are from your Airbnbs, the more likely that somebody else will have to handle in-person problems. There's 3 main ones that I can think of, so let's talk about what you'll need to make those 3 happen. The first big one that I see as a huge liability is lockouts. This happens too frequently. For some reason, guests will accidentally lock themselves out of a room. So if you're not there to bring a key and to unlock the apartment, you will either need to have a property manager, which usually is only affordable at scale. So let's say this is your first property, you're gonna need to find a locksmith or a pop-a-lock company, and you're gonna ask them to work out an in-advance agreement with you where they verify your addresses and your identity, your phone number. They do this, a screening process over the phone to verify you are who you are, and you give them permission to unlock doors for you at your verified properties. This is almost like a corporate account for a pop-a-lock. And that way, if guests ever had the same lockout problem, you can unlock the door. At apartment complexes, the reason why this happens is because maintenance will go into a building and then they'll lock it. But sometimes, let's say your guest left the key inside, which happens, and left the door unlocked because they're on property somewhere or they were in the neighborhood, they just, were being irresponsible. Maintenance will lock the door, the key will be inside, and now you're in this spot. So that's the main one that happens too commonly that really needs some planning. The second one is the easy one, I think, which is the cleaners. If you're not cleaning something on your own, you'll need to hire cleaners to do it. The only thing you really need to consider is that a cleaner is not like a regular household cleaner. They're also going to do some of your operational work for you. They're going to check to make sure nothing's stolen or broken. They're going to make sure that everything is in order for the next check-in. They're also going to make sure that guests are checked out. They will call you and say, hey, John hasn't left yet. It's 11:30 and checkout was at 11. I can't clean, right? They'll bug you about it. And that allows you to get on the phone and say, hey, John, checkout was at 11. You need to go, right? So you need to empower your cleaners to do that. Another thing you can empower your cleaners to do, which is what I do, and this is the third one, is restocking inventory. So the way that I get this done is I give my cleaners a company credit card. I do have another cleaner where they will actually make purchases in advance, and then I will actually Chase Quick pay her the money for the products that she buys. So some sort of reimbursement schedule for them to get this done. And yes, I pay them by the hour, and I pay them by the hour to shop for the supplies. So overall, I don't have to go shopping, saves me the money, and the cleaner makes her $13 an hour for a couple extra hours once in a while. And those are the main things to consider when setting up your Airbnb property in a place that you cannot. Now, this is all within your city though, right? You're still not getting, an Airbnb property in another state or hours away, because that means you're gonna need to have a partner because there will be extenuating circumstances that you'll still need to be present for. You might need to meet the office, the leasing staff, the property manager might need to talk to you, the leaseholder, so you still need to be around. But if you do decide to do something hours away, like I have ones in Fort Worth and I'm here in Houston and it gets run just fine, you can bring on a partner when you're new. You're gonna learn a lot as an Airbnb host. So you don't really want your first properties to be outside of your reach, but if you do decide to do that just because you live somewhere where Airbnb is not viable, pick up a partner, somebody who lives in the neighborhood or lives in the city, go to that city, scout out those locations, do your market research, and find where you think you'll do best, and then use that partner as your safety net just in case somebody needs to be present. Things happen, and you need somebody around. So I will do a future video on how to find a partner, how to pay a partner, what the compensation structures for having a business partner look like. And if you would like me to cover any topics in that video, just leave them in the comments in this video, and I'll add that stuff to the finding and compensating a partner topic. So thank you for watching Airbnb Automated. I will see you on the other side.